It's a legal order for abusers to stay away, meant to help protect victims of stalking, domestic violence, sexual assault, and other crimes. But getting a protective order from a court can be a complex process. Some say too complex. KVUE's Jessica Cha breaks down what it takes and the challenges people may face.
We started looking at this last September when we told you about a pregnant woman forced into labor after being assaulted by a man she says had been harassing her for months. And we want to warn you, the video of that assault may be hard to watch. Now the victim, Danielle McNelton, can only wonder if an easier path to a protective order would have prevented her assault.
Survivor, right, clever.
At 6 months old, Kendrick is Danielle McNelton's miracle.
Yeah.
Because he's been through more than most, even before he was born.
Yeah, I thought I lost my baby. I just knew it was over because he was hitting me in my stomach. He was kicking me everywhere.
As we showed you in September, Danielle was assaulted while 8 months pregnant with Kendrick. The suspect, her 53-year-old neighbor, AC Bouye.
As soon as I looked up over the hood part of my car, he was running full speed, screaming.
McNelton says she was beaten so badly, she went into labor a month early, giving birth to her son the next day. Bouye was arrested and charged with assault of a pregnant person. That was the first time Bouye allegedly assaulted Danielle, but she says her issues with him started months before. Last June, she says Bouye threatened her after she refused to give him a ride in her car.
You a lazy fat bee and this and that. He was like, I could just kill you. He said, I ought to go in my room and go get a gun and shoot you.
She says she feared for her life.
I just knew he was going to do something crazy. I just didn't know when.
And felt she needed a protective order.
So I asked the detective, could I apply for a protective order? And he told me I had to go to the courthouse and fill out a paper.
Danielle says when she asked about the protective order process at the Travis County Courthouse, an employee told her it probably wouldn't be granted.
Well, when I was there and she discouraged me, I just left. Like, well, they ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Over the next few months, the incidents continued. She says Bouye would yell and pace at her door at odd hours and trespass on her balcony. Records show that the Austin police responded to at least 9 calls from her address between June and September. But it was only after she had been assaulted that Danielle was able to get a protective order.
I just felt like helpless and hopeless. I couldn't help myself.
Records from the Travis County Attorney's Office show 571 protective order applications were filed last year in both district and county courts. And of those, 422 were granted. That's about 74%. County Attorney Delia Garza says her office does its best to help.
Statistically, protective orders help.
In Travis County, there are several kinds of protective orders people can apply for: family violence, harassing and stalking, or sexual assault and human trafficking. To qualify for any of these, you need evidence of one thing.
The applicant has to show that an act of violence has occurred.
Garza says it helps to have documentation like police reports. But stalking and harassing protective orders have a high bar.
What we look for is kind of a log of the repeated acts of different kinds of stalking and harassment types of acts.
Without any type of physical contact, Garza says it can be harder to document. And it's a process that takes time, sometimes weeks.
They would fill out an application, they would talk to one of our counselors, they would fill out an affidavit, which is basically a narrative of the incident that occurred.
From there, a judge decides whether to grant the order. And Garza says while people like Danielle think the process should be easier to get one.
So you're ordering someone, you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't talk to that person, you can't possess a firearm. And so the threshold has to be pretty significant.
But Allison Kolb with the Safe Alliance says that threshold may be too high.
It absolutely should be easier to get because this is a safety issue and lives are at stake.
Kolb says stalking may not always seem threatening at first, but it can get dangerous.
Statistically, we know that stalkers are more likely to escalate to severe violence and to sexual violence.
And that behavior can be hard to track, which could be a reason why a protective order request gets denied. Kolb says that can be discouraging.
So if they have a negative experience reporting, even if it's to someone who means well but just doesn't understand, they are less likely to engage with law enforcement, with the legal system again. And
Kolb says changing the process could take legislative action, but it also could save lives.
it'll create peace and safety, and it will save lives. It will prevent fatalities.
Because not everyone may be so lucky to survive as Danielle.
I feel like if someone is stalking or harassing you, you should be able to get an immediate protective order, because this could happen. Like, you could be attacked, you could be stabbed, you could be shot, you could be killed. Anything could happen to you.
If you or someone you know is the victim of family violence, sexual abuse, stalking, or harassing, contact police immediately by calling 911 or call advocacy groups like the Safe Alliance for help. Their hotline number is on your screen at 512-267-7233. Now, we have more details on the protective orders and how to make it as simple as possible with this story on KVUE.com.